What's up, University of Houston? Thanks for tuning in to the Medical Minute with ER Dr. Jess. We are here again this week answering questions that matter to you guys. As always, if you have any questions about the show or you want to ask any questions on air, please stop by Coug Radio on the second floor of the UC North, or you can hit me up at ER Dr. Jess on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. That's at ERDRJESS. In the studio today, we have my friend and fellow Baylor College alumni, Dr. Teresa Herring.
Hi.
Welcome, Dr. Herring. So great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. Dr. Herring graduated from medical school actually right here in Houston at Baylor College of Medicine, which is where she also did 4 years of surgery residency and then completed her emergency medicine residency training, which is actually where we met. And we trained together side by side, taking care of the great people of Houston over at Ben Taub General Hospital, actually now called Harris Health.
Oh, yes.
I think it went through a name change.
They've changed it.
They went through a name change. This is how
Since we were there.
Right. That's how busy I was. I was working. I was in a residency, super busy, and I woke up one day and the name had completely changed.
The entire hospital.
Right?
Exactly.
I mean, they were giving away like promo material. I'm like, wait, what? Where do I work?
Right.
That's how busy we were.
So
true.
But
anyway, since graduating, Dr. Herring has been working in the community as a full-time ER doc and recently opened a med spa here in Houston.
Yes, that's right. I just opened my doors. Actually, it was May of 2019 to Spa 146 by Dr. Teresa Herring. So I'm likely one of the most qualified and most trained doctors ever who has a Medi Spa after you list off all those years of training.
AKA, this is who you want putting a needle in your face.
Well,
no one else.
So.
No one else. The most qualified in Houston.
Thank you.
Actually, Dr. Herring, I didn't know that you opened in May. I thought it was this fall.
So I actually opened up the actual doors back in May.
Okay.
But I had my grand opening finally in heavens. It seems so long ago, but it was September.
Okay.
So just
Gotcha.
last month.
Gotcha.
Had the final grand opening. So everything's finally in place and where it should be.
And
so
ready
I'm
to roll.
Ready to take care of everybody.
Gotcha. Okay. Have you already started seeing patients, or are you?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great.
So it's very interesting. So I just opened the doors, but I've actually been taking care of cosmetic medicine patients now I started the official business back in January of 2018, but I was doing training back in 2013.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you've been doing this for a minute.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Good, because I have a lot of questions.
Absolutely. Let's bring them on.
I've got a lot of questions. So anyway, according to the American Society of Plastic Surgeons, the use of fillers, which is what you do, has soared from 1.8 million procedures in 2010 to about 2.6 million in 2016 here in the United States.
Absolutely.
Right? Why do you believe fillers have become more popular over the course of, I would say, like the last 10 years?
So first of all, we've gotten away from having the stigma of fillers. Everybody wants to look good, and looking good has been going on since the Egyptians and the Romans. Everybody always wants to look their best.
Yeah.
And now we're actually just able to talk about it a little bit more. It also helps that we see people like, the Kardashians on TV constantly, and we see all the lips that Kylie has made famous. And so it's just opened up that conversation of how do we keep that youthful appearance. And then the other thing is that more and more research is going into these alternate methods of keeping us younger looking for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Not as many people actually want to go under the knife. We hear all the time of people dying during elective surgical procedures.
#botched.
Exactly. And you see all these problems, and we have realized that there are safer ways to do this.
Gotcha. Okay, so I guess probably the promotion of like the non-invasive meaning like Dr. Herring said, not going under the knife or not being cut on and put under anesthesia to do it has become more popular. And I have actually a lot of questions about the age groups that are doing it now. But anyway,
absolutely,
yeah. So fillers and Botox, right?
Yes.
Was once like a cosmetic tool used for like the 40+ club.
Exactly.
I think, but has now become more common for individuals like in their 20s.
Absolutely. And it's one of the things that we say always, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound, later down the road.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
if I can get my hands on somebody while they are still looking youthful and fresh faced. And if we can maintain that for as long as possible, that is so much easier to do, and it's less costly than if I get my hands on you and you're in your 50s or 60s
and you're trying to
everything's already, saggy and hanging down to the floor. So that ends up needing a lot more work and a lot more time, a lot more resources too. But if we can prevent it, let's do it that way.
And so that was something I was actually looking at in preparation for the show. Like instead of a reversal tool, it looks like people are now using Botox and fillers and things like that as a preventative tool, which is which is why it's being promoted more in the 20-something age group, which is actually our college kids here. And I know a lot of parents may not want to hear that.
Exactly.
But this is just the reality of the situation, right?
Absolutely.
I think the average millennial takes like 28,000 selfies a year.
Right.
Who knows? It may be more than that.
Probably.
But I think constantly seeing yourself through the eyes of a camera lens may lead to you identifying certain flaws and critiquing yourself more than you normally would. And I think also social media probably plays a little bit of a role in that too, because I think there's I saw this meme out there. Now it was funny. I laughed. I probably shouldn't have, but the meme said something along the lines of oh, she's cute with the filter on, but when you take it off, she looks like a dragon.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
Or she looks like, who knows what. But I think, I don't know. To me, it's like it's a double. I feel kind of two-sided about it, right?
Sure.
Because I agree with the prevention, and I love the medicine, and I love how far we have come in medicine. But I think also, learning to, especially in the young kids or the younger folks, learning to kind of accept some of those flaws too.
Absolutely.
But I definitely want to preserve the smooth skin, and I want to preserve what I have, and not if I can maybe hold off on the wrinkles in the 50s and so forth and so on.
I think it's one of those things where it is a comment on how our society is changing. And overall, I think the society is changing for the better. We have realized that life and beauty and all the great things about experiencing life, they don't start when you are 18 and then automatically end when you turn 30.
Yeah.
And we've realized that we can be active, amazing, productive adults into our 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s. And everybody wants to live longer and they want to enjoy those years. And again, I totally agree. It has a lot to do with social media. It has a lot to do with what we're seeing on TV.
Yeah.
Some of these extreme examples is just taking it too far.
Yeah.
I do not recommend that any 18-year-old go out immediately and ask, for their holiday gift to be lips like Kylie's.
Right.
That's a little too extreme. Yeah. But if you have noticed that your lips are not as plump, or maybe you weren't endowed with very
naturally
plump
full lips
to begin with. Maybe you have thinner lips to start with. If you want a little extra volume in it, there's nothing wrong with that.
And so now I'm a little bit off task, but you brought that up, so I had to ask really quickly.
Yeah.
So you're talking about putting volume in the lips. How often would someone have to come in and get that done?
Absolutely. So, and that kind of makes us back up into a different question of what kinds of fillers are there out there.
Okay.
And the most common types of fillers that we have are the hyaluronic acid fillers.
Okay.
A lot of us have heard about hyaluronic acid. It's a very kind of hot word when it comes to cosmeceuticals. Right now, it's in all the serums, all of the moisturizers, all of the creams that we're trying to put on our face. And this is an injectable form. It is a natural substance that is in your body, and it gives you natural plumpness already. It's just one of those things where then we add it to give you extra plumpness. Where maybe we didn't have it before, or we need a little extra because we've lost it.
Gotcha.
So those fillers are the most common. Those are the Juvederm family of fillers, and then the Restylane family of fillers. So those are Juvederm Ultra Plus XC, Volbella, Voluma, Velour are very common. And then you've got the Restylane family of products that are Restylane L, Refine, Define, Silk.
And those are all hyaluronic
Those
acid.
are all hyaluronic acid fillers.
Which ones do you use? You use all those different?
I use them all. I
Okay.
have them all at my spa. Absolutely.
And this is a stupid question, but I want to know. And
No
I think if
stupid
I want to
questions.
know, then maybe somebody else wants to know. What's the texture of it? Is it like jelly? What does it feel like?
So the cool thing is that, so I just named off, 8 or 9 of those different types. Each one is a slightly different texture.
Yeah.
And so this is why you really have to know who you're going to
I see.
and who is going to inject your face and who you're going to entrust your face to, because every single one of those fillers has a different property to it.
Gotcha.
And so it feels different. We've usually used softer fillers for the lips, places that you want to have that real softness. You want it to feel natural. You don't want it to feel like cardboard. Whereas if we're doing cheek filler to give you a little bit more of a natural lift, give you a little bit higher cheekbone, then we want something that is a little bit stiffer that's going to hold up to that pressure.
So that gives you like that. You know how we now I've taken makeup classes and I could highlight and contour and all that.
Exactly.
So is that like you just give me like a natural contour?
That's
Girl, I'm gonna
correct.
be in your office tomorrow.
Exactly. You should come and see.
I'm gonna be in your office tomorrow. Let's make up the better girl. When people ask me how old I am now, I say I'm old enough to require a skin regimen.
That is correct.
I'm old enough to require a skin
Absolutely.
regimen. So I have to like exfoliate every day and I have to do creams and all this. I'm
Exactly.
like, this is what 36 feels
But
like, huh?
exactly, but ounce of prevention.
Yeah. So I'm here for it. I'm gonna come see you for real.
Yes.
So I think I had another question. So Botox versus fillers.
Yes.
Right? Because I think people get confused.
They do.
Botox versus fillers. Tell us about it.
Okay, so Botox is one type. It's kind of like the Band-Aid brand of elastic bandages.
Okay.
Botox is neurotoxin. So it stops your muscles from contracting. So if we can stop a muscle from contracting, the skin in between that muscle contracting then won't get a wrinkle.
Okay.
Okay, so that's how the neurotoxins work. So you've got Botox, you've got Xeomin, you have Dysport. There's a brand new one that just came out on the market that everyone's trying to figure out if it's going to work as well, called Jeuveau.
Stay away from that one.
Exactly. So those are all the neurotoxins that we have. On the other kind of side of it are the fillers. So fillers aren't making anything stop moving.
Okay.
We actually want to put the fillers into the most expressive parts of your face just because we don't want those places to stop moving. So I don't want to freeze your cheeks. I don't want to freeze your lips from moving and make it very hard to, talk,
Yeah.
drink, eat, things like that.
Gotcha.
So, right. Eating is very important. So it's just a little bit different of where you place things.
Gotcha.
The general rule, and this is not a hard and fast rule at all, is that typically we're looking at those neurotoxins, the Botox, about mid-nose and above.
Okay.
So up to your forehead. Whereas fillers, we are using mainly in the mid face to lower face.
Gotcha.
So
Now, do
cheeks
you
and
do
below.
Botox also?
I do.
Okay.
I
So you
do all the not all the neurotoxins. I use Botox and Dysport, and then I do the fillers as well.
Gotcha. So
And
you're
lots
just
of
all
other-
around just making people look beautiful.
Absolutely. I was going to say, we're a full service Medi Spa.
I love it. Okay, that's awesome. So I think one of the questions I had, you kind of already answered.
Yes.
So is it okay for individuals in their 20s to use Botox and fillers? I think you answered that and you're totally with it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, and my practice is a little different. I am not a one size fits all kind of person. And so when we are looking at prevention, you do want to make sure that somebody's going to tailor this program to you. If you only need 4 or 5 units of Botox or other neurotoxin, then that's what you should be getting. You shouldn't be getting a full face that a 60-year-old or 50-year-old is getting.
Gotcha.
And likewise, the same thing with the dermal fillers. If you are looking for just a little bit of a plump in your lips, then you may not need 2 or 3 syringes of filler that a 60-year-old woman will need if she's going to get the full liquid facelift.
And I'm assuming there's a price difference in each one of those.
So, because we want to maintain sterility when it comes to the dermal fillers, we want to make sure that anything at any point that we are injecting injecting into your skin and into your face is clean, doesn't have any other bacteria.
Of course.
The dermal fillers are sold by the syringe.
Okay. So is there like a set amount in each syringe, or do you?
The most common size of the syringe is 1 ml.
Okay.
So it's 1 milliliter. It actually takes 5 of those to fill up a teaspoon.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's still a small amount, but if you put that small amount of volume into the right areas, then it makes a huge impact.
And is the person paying for each syringe, like each 1 milliliter?
Yes.
So then
usually
it would be like, so if someone isn't as honest as you,
right,
and they're just trying to make money and, you know, push as much of the product as possible to make money,
right,
they may fill you with more than what you need, or more than what is cosmetically or
correct,
aesthetically pleasing.
Absolutely. So this is always, again, why it's so important to make sure that you know who you're going to. You want to make sure that it's going to be somebody you trust. You need to probably have the consult up front before you actually make the appointment for the injections. And you have to understand all of the costs and everything up front. Don't allow somebody to oversell you when you're already in the chair, when you're already getting the injections.
So I guess that kind of, the other question I had, this I think may be beginning to answer that, because I know some people come out of the spas and they don't look too cute. Like,
right.
There's some not so great,
Yes.
not so great results. And is that
Absolutely.
the reason why you think people are just kind of overselling and over pushing the product?
Absolutely. And I think it's very important to have realistic expectations. I'm not going to be able to take somebody who's got super thin lips and then make them the next Angelina Jolie.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to be able to make something huge out of nothing. That being said, so if you go into an office with realistic expectations, but you need to know how much you're going to have to pay. Syringes of filler are kind of expensive, but they can last anywhere between 6 months up to usually around a year.
Okay.
Sometimes for the cheek filler, it can last up to 2 years.
Okay.
So you should be paying somewhere around $600 to $800 a syringe.
Okay.
It is a large investment, but if you think that that syringe could be with you for the next year, then breaking it up over every single month isn't as bad.
Do you take payment plans?
Yes, absolutely.
You do? Oh, you do? Really?
Yes.
That's really cool.
We can always work out a payment plan. Absolutely, if needed.
I was just joking. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you were going to say yes, but that's kind of that is kind of cool.
Exactly.
Okay. So what, I guess, side effects have you noticed? Like, you get to work in the ER and see other people's work come in sometimes.
Absolutely.
I'm sure, and then you get to see what you do.
Yes.
What do you say would be the biggest risk, or has been the biggest side effect?
So there are lots of risks, unfortunately, with the dermal fillers.
Okay.
The Botox and the neurotoxins have much less risk. That's the kind of the easiest way to get into this cosmetic aesthetic industry. But the dermal fillers do come with some real risks. It is a product that we are injecting very, very close to some of the delicate facial arteries and vessels. Those are very, very important. If we accidentally put it into an artery where the blood supply is coming for your skin, it can actually make that part of your skin die. So most of us don't think that that's a big deal, except for the problem of every time we have a part of your skin that dies, it can form a scar. The last thing that any of us want are great big scars all over our face.
Right.
You know, we're trying to correct one issue or make something look better. We don't want to then cause a bigger issue.
Yeah.
So that, again, goes back to you just have to know who's injecting you. There are lots of places right now that are just letting medical assistants or anybody that they train do these injections. You have to make sure that whoever is injecting you knows about the facial anatomy.
And I was just about to say that, knows anatomy. And who would know better anatomy than a surgeon?
Absolutely. I hope so.
Who would know better anatomy than a surgeon?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
So, and that does kind of get back to, the types of fillers that we have. Some of these fillers, if we run into those complications, and if we can catch those complications, then we can dissolve the filler. There are certain other medicines that we can inject that we can use in that area to kind of help any sort of blockages, if there is any, what we would call arterial occlusion, so blockage of those blood vessels, we can put additional medicine in that to dissolve that filler.
Gotcha. So is that something you would know is happening right away? Like, will the patient have pain, or how does that work?
Exactly. So typically it is pain that is much more than expected.
Okay.
So again, you have to have great communication with whomever is injecting you. And then it needs to be a very close talk after you're done with the injections. So if you do get an injection done by somebody, if you feel that there is anything that is wrong, you need to be able to have immediate contact with them. Just being able to contact a place 9 to 5, not having after hours, options is a big red flag. We need to make sure that we have a way to get into contact with you.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, not that many ER docs would know how to deal with these complications.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Because I'll be like, I don't know
Exactly.
what to do.
Exactly. I'll give you a story though.
Yeah.
Just at the end of last week, I was at the freestanding emergency room, and sure enough, the night before, some young man came in after having a bad hyaluronic acid injection.
Really?
Exactly. So you just have to be super careful.
So you said young man, so guys are getting this done also?
Absolutely. This is not just a thing for the ladies.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
How frequently, or what would you say is like equally 50% guys?
No,
50%
I would say the guys are a little bit less likely, but it also just depends on what kind of aesthetic we're going for.
Yeah.
For men, it's a lot more cheek filler. Jaw fillers are really big
To
on
make the
men as well.
jawline nice.
Absolutely.
And
You want that square jaw.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of popping right there.
Oh,
So
everybody wants to look like the walking selfie. I want to look like a walking selfie too. I want to look like a filter.
Man, I need a constant
I
filter.
want to look like a filter. Okay, so I guess to summarize it, if you're talking to, and obviously our population or our listeners are in our 18 to like 25 range.
Yes.
What would you recommend for them? What advice would you give them, I guess, to kind of round this all out, if they are considering it or wanting to do it? Because a lot of college students try to do things on a budget.
Exactly.
And they try to kind of work around a Dr. Herring.
Absolutely. And I totally get that, because everybody ultimately is watching their wallet.
Right.
So, but we've got the holidays coming up. If this is something that you are very interested in, then most definitely ask for the cash, ask for the gift certificates, ask for, a certain special. Most of the medical spas are doing some sort of special. This is also something, though, that you can ease into. So probably most 18 to 25-year-olds aren't going to need the full meal deal that a 60-year-old would when it comes to this stuff. So just be prepared to start small. And then the other thing is that when you find somebody good, talk to them about your budget. Don't let them oversell you, but absolutely talk to them about your budget. And then you can have a realistic conversation about what to expect and what you can achieve.
And go to a place that accepts payment plans. Like
there you go. Exactly.
I'm signing up for the payment plan. I'll sign up for the direct withdrawal or automatic withdrawal every month, whatever. No, seriously, I do want to come see you and see what you can do for this face.
Oh, heavens. You're beautiful, Jess.
Thank you very much. So where can they find you? Where can we find you? What's your contact info?
Absolutely. So you can find me online. It's still a little bit under construction, but pretty soon should be up at SPA. That's SPA146.com. And then I am all over Facebook. So just go ahead and look for me under either Teresa Herring, that's TheresaHarring, or you can find me at TRH Injectables.
Injectables. I like it. Do you have a contact number?
Absolutely. 281-900-7101. I would take a text message, call anytime. You know us. We're ER docs. We're up all
the time. Up
all the
night.
time.
That's awesome. So you guys just got all the tea on all the fillers and the Botox. She just gave it to you first. Obviously, very important where you get your services done. Very important to make sure that you're getting the right thing that's actually literally tailored to you, so that you don't have to suffer the unfortunate, unaesthetically pleasing botched results just because someone's trying to upsell you or oversell you. Make sure that you know what you're getting into. You've educated yourself. Shows like ER Dr. Jess, Medical Minute with ER Dr. Jess, and reaching out to people that know what they're doing, like Dr. Herring.
Exactly.
So make sure to consider all of the risk and all of the benefit in cases like this when you are dealing with any non-invasive or invasive procedures. Thank you so much, Dr. Herring, for being on the show. It was fantastic, very knowledgeable. I had a lot of questions that you answered for me. I appreciate it, and I'm sure that you answered for a bunch of other people out there that are listening.
Wonderful.
So that is our show for today. That's our time today, Cougs. Thanks for tuning in, as always, to the Medical Minute with ER Dr. Jess. Tune in next week. We will be talking about other issues that matter to you. Some issues, including some mental health related topics like depression and the thoughts of suicide and things like that. Not as much of a lighthearted topic as today, but we also have to talk about the heavy stuff too. So tune in next week. I hope you guys have a great week.